because I was like, wow, this is embarrassing for the WNBA.
Honestly, not going to apologize for that. I'm a competitor. I want to win. I shouldn't get over that. I should use it as fuel, which is exactly what I'm doing. I'm working really hard. I'm doing everything I can to use Unrivaled for exactly what I was built to, build my game. Like, I wish we were treated better in our other places of work, you know? But also
what should have been a proud celebration of the WNBA's growth turned into a storm of controversy the moment Nafisa Collier walked on stage at the 2025 All-Star Draft. On a national ESPN broadcast, a rare opportunity for the league to capture widespread attention, Collier didn't just show up as an athlete. She came as a brand, a walking, talking advertisement for Unrivaled, the side league she co-founded. But she didn't stop at wearing a shirt with the Unrivaled logo. She mentioned the league by name repeatedly within the first 15 minutes of airtime, plugging it like she was pitching a new streaming service, not participating in a celebration of the very league that made her career possible. This wasn't a slip-up or a casual nod to a passion project. It was a strategic move, calculated, planned, and executed on live television in front of sponsors, fans, media, and players who were expecting unity, not division. Let's put this into perspective. The WNBA doesn't get many national broadcasts on major networks. The All-Star Draft is one of those rare moments when the spotlight truly shines on women's basketball. That airtime is precious. It's used to highlight the players, grow the audience, and show potential sponsors and partners that the league is professional, exciting, and marketable. And yet here was one of the league's most recognizable faces, not using that stage to promote the league, her team, or even the All-Star event itself, but to push her personal venture, Unrivaled. Think about how wild that is. Imagine if a Nike-sponsored athlete walked into an Adidas commercial and started pushing their own shoe brand. It wouldn't be tolerated. But in this case, Collier used the ESPN cameras, the WNBA's audience, and an event created to celebrate league unity, and turned it into a launchpad for a completely separate business. So what is Unrivaled? Launched in 2023 by Collier and Brianna Stewart, it was framed as an off-season league created by players for players. The goal, they said, was to give athletes an alternative to going overseas during the off-season, where many WNBA players are forced to play in order to make a livable wage. On paper, it sounds empowering, but in practice, it's a direct competitor. Unrivaled runs its own schedule, has its own marketing, and is actively positioning itself as a better platform than the WNBA. That wouldn't be such a problem if it weren't for two things. First, the WNBA is still in a delicate phase of growth. It needs unity, not competition. And second, Unrivaled isn't even successful by traditional metrics. Most of its games barely break 80,000 views. ESPN doesn't broadcast it. It's not part of any major sports package. It's essentially a niche streaming league that hasn't yet proven it has staying power. And yet here was Collier, hijacking one of the WNBA's biggest nights of the year to give Unrivaled a free, national promo. It wasn't just the shirt or the name drops. It was the attitude, the lack of subtlety, the complete disregard for the people around her, the Lynx fans who expected their player to rep their team, the Indiana Fever fans hosting the event, the WNBA front office trying to present a unified message. Everyone was sidelined so Collier could plug her brand. Even Brianna Stewart got name-dropped, not because of anything she did in the All-Star context, but because she's Collier's co-founder. The draft, which should have been about showcasing the best talent in the league, quickly turned into a glorified startup pitch. And the irony? The very platform she used to do it, the ESPN cameras, the national stage, doesn't even carry her league. Unrivaled isn't aired by ESPN. It doesn't benefit the network. So now you've got a player promoting a rival product on a platform that has no connection to that product. It was frankly a mess. But this isn't just about one event. It's about power. Collier and Stewart are more than just co-founders of Unrivaled. They're also the current faces of the WNBP, the Players Union, and they're leading collective bargaining agreement negotiations on behalf of all WNBA players. So let's unpack that. The same people negotiating with the WNBA for better player treatment are the same ones actively building a league that competes with it. If those talks fail, if the CBA collapses, or if there's a lockout, who benefits? Unrivaled. The conflict of interest is obvious. It's like having the co-CEO of Pepsi negotiating the future of Coca-Cola. It's not just inappropriate, it's dangerous for the stability of the league. And yet somehow, the most influential player in the WNBA right now, Caitlin Clark, isn't even at the table. Despite being the biggest draw in the league, Clark has no meaningful role in the CBA discussions. She's bringing in record-breaking TV ratings, selling out arenas, and driving merchandise sales at unprecedented levels. But while she's elevating the entire league, it's Collier and Stewart who are steering the ship behind closed doors. And that imbalance is not lost on fans. The resentment is building, and social media lit up with one question: how is the person doing the most to grow the league getting the least say in its future? After Collier's performance at the All-Star Draft, fans didn't just express disappointment, they exploded. Screenshots of her shirt flooded X, formerly Twitter. Commentators dragged her, calling it tone-deaf, entitled, and unprofessional. Some joked that she was about to start handing out unrivaled business cards or scan a QR code linking to their merch store. Others were more serious, pointing out that this kind of move erodes the league's credibility and risks scaring away the very sponsors and media partners the WNBA needs right now. You can't build a professional league if your own players treat national broadcasts like personal brand deals. And this goes beyond one incident. Unrivaled is now being viewed as more than just a side project. It's a symbol of division, a shadow operation that's bleeding attention, sponsorships, and credibility from the WNBA. And with Collier and Stewart in such influential positions, people are starting to question their true motives. Are they really working to improve conditions for all WNBA players, or are they laying the groundwork to poach talent, shift the narrative, and turn Unrivaled into the main show? Every time they criticize the WNBA's leadership or reject offers in the CBA talks, it now raises a second question: are they speaking as union leaders, or as businesswomen protecting a competitor? To make matters worse, this entire saga is playing out as the WNBA tries to secure a massive expansion. They're looking to extend the season to 50 games, bring in new franchises, and negotiate fresh TV deals. The league is at a critical juncture, and stability is everything. But instead of projecting unity and focus, the All-Star Draft sent the opposite message: one of chaos, of conflict, of internal power plays. And that's the kind of thing that spooks advertisers, undermines trust, and gives critics ammo to claim that women's sports still aren't ready for primetime. It's not fair, but it's the reality. The backlash didn't just come from fans. Media figures, other players, and even some former teammates weighed in, many privately, some publicly. The consensus? Collier crossed a line. She didn't just blur the boundaries between professional and personal. She erased them. She turned a league event into a startup pitch, and then tried to pretend it was all about empowerment. But here's the truth: real empowerment doesn't come from undermining the very system you claim to be improving. It comes from building it up, not tearing it down to make room for your own. And then there's the Caitlin Clark factor. The WNBA has never had a rookie come in with this much heat. Every game she plays boosts ratings. Every clip goes viral. She's not just a player, she's a movement. But she's been kept out of union leadership conversations, out of media negotiations, out of all the spaces where change is being shaped. And fans are starting to ask, why? Why is the person doing the most to elevate the WNBA being excluded, while the people steering the union are the same ones building a rival? It doesn't add up. One viral comment summed it up best: if Caitlin Clark had done this, they'd call it entitlement. But when Collier does it, they call it empowerment. And that quote stuck, because it speaks to the double standard in how athletes are treated, not just by the league, but by the media and fans as well. Collier gets applauded for disrupting the system. Clark gets told to stay in her lane. It's not leadership, it's gatekeeping, and it's putting the future of the league at risk. The sad truth is, the WNBA needs all the help it can get right now. It needs unity, cohesion, a single voice that speaks to sponsors, fans, and young athletes looking up to this league. What it got instead was a player using one of its biggest moments to push her own project at the expense of everyone else. And no amount of retroactive PR can clean that up, because we all saw it, and we all know what it was. In the end, this isn't just about Nafisa Collier. It's about a growing power struggle inside the WNBA, a fight between players who want to grow the league together and those who want to reshape it in their own image. If the WNBA can't rein this in, if it allows brand warfare and conflict of interest to fester, it risks becoming a fractured, unstable mess. And the saddest part? All of this comes at a time when women's basketball is finally breaking through into the mainstream. One step forward, two steps back. If you want more breakdowns like this, more behind-the-scenes drama, more brutal truth, and more real talk the media won't say out loud, subscribe and stick around. Because the real stories? They're just getting started.